Inspector General of Police, Manipur. Has marked the opening of the photo exhibition on systematic voter education and electoral participation SIP campaign.
Mipum khudimagta sakti piba migup na homsingna sabana mipum khudimag kulahenba amasung matang chana yan lokshin yohanba Thana of Police Manipur Sri Alem County IPS Mathangda Srimati Nungsitombi Atongpang Chief Electoral Officer Sri Pasan Kumar Singla Mathang Sitna Thoromapuina Nasigitor Si Saruyabigay. To proceed, Singvinipa, Chief Guest, President Amasung, Guest of Honor Singbo, Kudolpon, Bibinabagi ng Magtang. Torungi President, Sri P.K. Singh, Prasad Kumar Singh, Chief Electoral Officer mo, Lolong Chari.
I request one and all to please give a big round of applause. Now it's time for the lighting of ceremonial lamps, so I request the respected dignitaries to please come in.
Tukaliba mayra sila may pumijatuna na sige thorpasi mapung khaba may pangpang thorop ama oyo sunuhay na shuri mapamda thori jari.
And the Joint Chief Electoral Officer Manipur to deliver the welcome address.
A very good morning, one and all. As we all know, the National Voters' Day is celebrated every year on 25th of January across the country to mark the foundation of the Election Commission of India, to felicitate the young voters and to encourage them to take part in the electoral process and to motivate them to exercise their universal adult franchise in a free and fair manner. Today, as we celebrate the 11th National Voters' Day on the theme, making our voters empowered, vigilant, safe and informed, I, on behalf of the Chief Electoral Officer Manipur, extend my heartiest welcome to the chief guest of today's function, Sri L.M. Khaute, DGP Manipur. I'm also pleased to welcome Srimati Nungsitombi Athopon, State Election Commissioner, who has been kind to grace the function as guest of honor. I'm truly honored to also welcome the President of today's function and our beloved mentor, Sri P.K. Singh, Chief Electoral Officer Manipur. Also extend my welcome to Sri K. Bono Singh, Joint Secretary Election. It's my honor to welcome our special invitees, administrative secretaries, heads of various departments, officers from various other departments who have come to attend the function in time. A warm welcome to all the awardees, District Election Officer Bisnupur, electoral registration officers who have made exemplary contribution in the recently concluded Special Summary Revision 2021. I also take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude and to extend my welcome to all the booth level officers who have been nominated for state awards for their dedicated service and for their outstanding performance during the Special Summary Revision 2021. I also welcome our sweep state icons who have been so supportive in creating awareness to the general public and also giving valuable messages about the importance of participation in the electoral process. On this special occasion, I extend my heartfelt welcome to all the first-time voters, and we hope that you will take active part in the electoral process and contribute in nation building. Last but not the least, a warm welcome to all the students from Caesar Academy of Nursing, Alirion Aviation Academy, Coacatil, friends from print and electronic media. With all your presence, we hope that the function will be a grand success. Happy National Voters Day. Thank you.
Tarang upa warul PBKBGidama Tagachari, Joint Chief Electoral Officer Manipur, Sri Ramananda Numekapam.
Now it's time for the much-awaited speeches from the respected dignitaries on the dais. I would like to request the President of today's program, Sri Prashant Kumar Singh, IAS Chief Electoral Officer, Manipur, to kindly deliver a speech on the occasion.
A very good morning to all of you. First and foremost, a very happy Voters' Day to all of you. As you all know, we take pride in calling ourselves the largest democracy in the world. Even though we may not be the most developed country, but election after election, India has demonstrated that the fabric of democracy has strengthened. As we have all seen recently, one of the major developed countries, the way they handle their elections. And look at the way we handle our elections. Within 6 to 7 hours, the results are out, and there hasn't been any controversy in any of the state elections, in any of the general elections. This is an occasion where we celebrate this democracy of ours. In the state today, we are doing it at the state level, at the district level, at all the 3,000 odd polling stations. Our BLOs, our people have done the NVD celebrations. How we do it behind the scenes, we do it very quietly. I'll just explain to you briefly the structure of our office. We have a small group of 5-6 officers in the CEO's office, but we are very, very well supported by the district machinery, including the police. As we saw in the last 5 by-elections, the way we conducted in the most difficult of times with all entirely changed SOPs. It was a pandemic period. But I salute all my staff, all the people who came forward fearlessly and conducted the exercise very successfully. Thank you all. In the last 1.5 years, I'll just explain to you what we have done. Under the guidance of the Election Commission, we carried out a very massive exercise of electoral verification program, wherein we tried to correct all the entries in the electoral rolls, even epic entries, and close to 50,000-60,000 cards were modified. We are one of the few states in the country, Manipur, where we have 100% epic coverage, where we have complete photo electoral rolls, and we have no DSCs, they are demographically similar entities. That means errors have been minimized. Way forward is, very soon we will embark on having our colored photo rolls, wherein the electoral roll will have the colored photograph of every voter. Ramananda said that the theme of today's function is making our voters empowered, vigilant, safe and informed. It is very contemporary, keeping the state that we are right now in. The best part is that we have lived up to the challenge of changing times. The technology has changed drastically over the last 20-25 years. I must congratulate my IT department, which has adapted very well. We are now able to manage everything on our own in-house, and we have received several accolades from the Commission also. I would also like to congratulate our media partner Fluorescence for setting up a very vibrant and a very colorful campaign in the entire process of elections, revision, etc. I once again, with folded hands, congratulate all my staff up to the BLO level. BLOs are our backbone. They reach out to the lowest level to every voter on the field. Without them, this exercise or whatever we do is not possible. I salute all my BLOs and I expect them to carry on with this wonderful job that they are doing. And I wish that you all continue to support us and we improve for the better every test that we face. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Chief Electoral Officer of Manipur, Sri Prasanth Kumar Singh na Taragamathoy Suba National Voters Day 2023 gi adugumlaba mari lainaba wafam kaya ama thambirambagidamag thagatchari.
Now we have two videos will be played on screen. For electronic photo identity card, EPIC, mobile application video, and a video on by-election of Manipur, by-election to Manipur Legislative Assembly 2021, Assembly 2020, which will be played on screen.
EPIC mobile application video ani koi mayam puna midinta minasi.
मैजिक नहीं, मैं एपिक हूँ। पहले मैं पॉकेट में, पर्स में, दराज में रहता था और कभी-कभी गुम भी हो जाता था। लेकिन अब मैं डिजिटल हो गया हूँ, हमेशा साथ रहता हूँ।
रहोगे क्यों नहीं? इजी हो, आसान हो, हम सबकी पहचान हो।
अब वोटर कार्ड हुआ डिजिटल। आप भी आज ही अपना वोटर कार्ड मोबाइल से लिंक करें, डिटेल्स चेक करें, ऑथेंटिकेट करें और डाउनलोड करें। इसके लिए www.voterportal.eci.gov.in या www.nvsp.in या वोटर हेल्पलाइन मोबाइल ऐप पर जाएं।
of today's event, Sri L.M. Kaute, IPS Director General of Police, Manipur. I request Sir to kindly come forward for the pledge taking of the 11th National Voters' Day 2021 and to kindly deliver a speech on the occasion.
Sri L.M. Kaute, Director General of Police po, Nolokchari. Luenga na Chief Guest ki waruso thambi na magidamagta ning singjari.
To please raise up for the pledge taking.
Abiding faith in democracy, the democratic traditions of our country, and peaceful elections, and to vote in every election fearlessly and without being influenced by religion, race, caste, community, language, or any inducement. Thank you. A very good morning to Toppa and Sri K. Bono Singh, Joint Secretary Election, and a distinguished gathering, including media friends. I feel privileged to be amongst you this morning as the chief guest by default, thanks to PK, on this 11th National Voters' Day 2021. The Chief Electoral Officer has briefly highlighted the steps that have been taken by the Election Commission of India, which was very informative and which should go a long way in better understanding of the electoral process and the steps taken towards free and fair conduct of elections in a vast democracy like India. And I'm also pleased to announce that, as informed to me by the Chief Electoral Officer, a new app, as you have just seen, which will be very handy to be used on our mobile telephones relating to the elections matters, and it's a very heartening development that is going to be launched today. I have been also very closely associated with the electoral process in various capacities during the past, I would say, over 3 decades of my career in the service. We have been closely working together with various stakeholders in the government as well as in other arenas. If you may recollect, in the past years, say going back to the 80s, how elections were conducted, or maybe the early 90s, how elections were conducted and how elections are conducted nowadays. There is vast change in the methodologies, in the strategies, and in the spirit of democratic this important exercise. In the past years, because of maybe lack of infrastructure, including lack of maybe security forces, we used to have a lot of problems in terms of securing even the polling parties. securing the polling stations. And there have been many instances of report, especially in the hill areas. And elections in those days, as you all know, was more of what we say, it was a very difficult exercise. I don't want to be too critical, but I'm just highlighting that for better understanding of the progress that has been achieved by the Election Commission of India in the past many years, as to be able to apply or enforce all the present mechanisms which has really bolstered the election mechanism in the country and also in the state in particular. Now, whenever there is election, even for a by-election, you have a slew of officers flying down, detailed by the Election Commission of India, to check expenditures, to check any malpractices, or even police nodal officers have been appointed to ensure that the security arrangements that are being taken up are in accordance with the guidelines of the Election Commission of India, and also to ensure that there is free and fair election in that particular by-election or in any election in the state of Manipur, or rather, for that matter, in any part of the country. So we have flying squads. So all these measures have not been observed in the early 80s, if I remember correctly. So the Election Commission of India has been adding series of technology-based applications, like the slogan that we have launched probably last year, "I'm ready to vote," on that National Voters' Day, wherein I remember that I was present, and I have been privileged to be associated closely with the observance of National Voters' Day during the past few years, and I'm thankful to Mr. P.K. Singh, the Chief Electoral Officer, in particular, for remembering me on this important occasion, which also enhanced or enlightened me about the steps taken up by the Commission, and in turn, I would be in a better position to percolate it down to the rank and file in the police, which is an important stakeholder in the management of election in the country. In view of the developments or the new instructions or the new applications or the new guidelines which have been coming from the Election Commission of India, I understand that the State Election Commission has tremendous responsibilities to implement in letter and in spirit those recommendations, not only in particular department, but amongst all departments concerned. And we have seen the results, that how nowadays elections are being conducted in a very more effective manner and in a very more transparent manner. Even we have seen live streaming of the voting patterns, and even in remote areas, which is unthinkable if you go back to a couple of decades. So these measures, as we said, as already highlighted by the CEO, these are done in a very stealthy and low-key manner. I really give this credit to the Chief Electoral Officer and his team of officers and staff for having done excellent job in not only taking up all these new measures, but also in ensuring that the police force, including the central paramilitary forces and other departments, are also made equally sensitized to the new guidelines of the Election Commission of India. Big congratulations, and once again, I would like to say that no matter, notwithstanding the amount of or the quantum of efforts that we all put in towards this objective, but I have my personal feeling that unless the population, unless the voters are fully involved, or they are also fully aware of the requirements of the value of democracy, the need for having a free and fair election, the need for electing the best representatives or the best candidate who would be representing them, who would be sitting in the parliament, who would be sitting in the assembly to govern the country or the state on their behalf. I think democracy will not be successful in the real sense of the term. Therefore, it should be our endeavor to bring about this spirit and also increase the quantum of the movement that we are observing for better election and the quality of the electoral process, for which contribution of the voters is absolutely essential. Once again, I thank the CEO for inviting me on this occasion, and thank you for listening to whatever I have just said. Thank you all.
Thagachari Chukes, Sri Alan Kaute, Director General of Police.
Now we have a message from Sri Sunil Arora, the Chief Election Commissioner, Election Commission of India, through a video which will be played on screen.
Chief Election Commissioner Sri Sunil Arora Taragamatui Shuba, National Voters Day na Iwengana Miyam de Pipa Paujan, Mubiyek Tabinasi.
And within, I convey my respectful regards to all the voters of India. We are now beginning a new decade full of hope, healing, recovery and faith. Election Commission has always reiterated that each and every vote counts, and it has been our consistent endeavor to ensure that no voter is left behind. This day reminds us of the rights and responsibilities of the voters. Accordingly, the late motive that is theme for NLD 21 is making our voters feel safe, empowered, more informed and much more vigilant. Thanks to the visionary founding fathers of Indian Constitution, ECI was set up on 25th January 1950, one day prior to India constituting itself into a republic. It has been more than 70 years since then. 17 general elections have been conducted, besides several elections to the state assemblies. Elections in India have been conducted in a manner that is free, fair, participative, inclusive and accessible. COVID-19 pandemic added another dimension to this, that is safe elections. It was a tough challenge indeed for the Commission as we sought to balance the health and safety of the voters with the safety of their constitutional right to vote. After consultation with CEOs and stakeholders, special protocols and guidelines for conducting election amid a pandemic situation was evolved. The faith of ECI in the voters and the trust of the voters in ECI as an institution was recently amply displayed in Bihar elections, where despite COVID, voters came in large numbers to vote, and the voter turnout exceeded that of previous assembly elections and even 2019 general elections. The successful conduct of election during such unprecedented times was made possible by the cooperation of all our stakeholders. Elections are due to be held in 4 states and 1 UT in the near future, and preparations for the same are already in full swing. We call upon the voters of these poll-bound states to come out to vote in large numbers without any fear, inducement or influence of any type. We also hope that you will make effective use of the C-Vigil app launched by the Commission as a pilot project in 2018 and extended to the entire country in Lok Sabha elections 2019. It has over a period of time emerged as the most powerful and effective tool for citizen empowerment. We also assure you that we will make all our arrangements to ensure that the entire voting process and premises are completely sanitized as well as safe for the exercise of your franchise. Commission has taken up several new initiatives for the benefit of stakeholders. We will launch the EAP card tomorrow for all our young, newly enrolled voters to make the process of electoral registration easier and digital. Hello voters, ECI is web radio and the first of its kind initiative being launched on National Voters Day will help to further strengthen our continuing engagement with you. In the days to come, this will emerge as a nerve center of voter awareness, information sharing, stories from our unsung heroes and election warriors. Commission has given utmost priority towards extending facilitation to persons with disabilities and senior citizens. Postal ballot facility has been extended to PWD voters and those 80 years and above. For the convenience of our service voters, the ETPBS system was devised, which led to a record number of service voters accessing their franchise. This is an occasion to share with you an important dimension of the vision of Election Commission for future electoral processes. We have already started a research project on remote voting using cutting-edge technology with IIT Chennai and other leading institutions, and it has made good progress. Mock trials of this project will begin soon. Another significant change we can look forward to pertains to grant of postal ballot facility to our overseas electors, for which a proposal is under active consideration of the Law Ministry. Once again, I convey warm greetings on the occasion of National Voters Day. Let us continue to evolve and also resolve to enhance voter participation in order to further deepen and strengthen our democracy. Jai Hind.
Moving ahead, the newly enrolled voters from different assembly constituency of Manipur will be presented with elector photo identity card by our chief guest and guest of honors of today's function.
Mathangi Thorok City Ngasigi Chief Guest President amasung Guest of Honor na Masagi Chahi Taragalipan Suduna Naung voter oyaba New Isigna Ibig ko sinabagi Thorok Maduni.
I would like to request Sri L.M. Kaute, IPS Director General of Police, the chief guest of today's function. Next, Kuraija Rendha, Sonia Yonam, Hobson Ngango, Asim Nyon Devi.
Matanda amuk kosin jage Gujarat Sletang. Gujarat ki matanda Kuraija Rendha. Thagachari Rendha ki matanda Maibam Sujakanta Singh. Tharamgi chipkesa kusin nabigani.
Thank you, Sri L.M. Kaute, IPS Director General of Police, for distributing the elector photo identity card to the newly enrolled voters. Next, I request Srimati
Bulanogum ki mathanda Thole Nomaithe. Mathanda Nithosam Daina Devi. Mathanda Thole Nomaithe.
Last but not least, I request Sri Prasant Kumar Singh, IAS Chief Electoral Officer, Manipur, to present the elector photo identity card to the newly enrolled voters with pages.
Mathanda Sangamitra Dr. Loyana, Ascent News to Kusinjuna, Nasili President Sri Prasant Kumar Singh na purchase also electronic photo identity card Kusinabili Toramadubang Tokli. Sonika Yunam ki mathanda option Ngamo Leng Seleksi Mathanda Sonalika Nongthombang Sonalika ki mathanda Sangamitra Nongthombang Loyana Areba Oina Asem Nyon Devi. Nasigi ipigama so kugi bejo siento kugi toro masida serogia bikiba kozi hosima aikoi ipig
Thank you, everyone. 6 state icons for systematic voter education and electoral participation.
Electoral participation state icon midamata kangalaba miyoy shimbui kay pinang upagi toram maduni matangi toram si ahan pada lengsilaksi Sri Ajay Setri.
A professional football player with a remarkable
Ajay Setri
our state icon
Popa
has made his place in the
Mapaludi
Indian
State
football
Star
scene.
lengsila ibasi.
He has played in various renowned football clubs. Ajay Chetri.
Sri Ajay Setri apopani nasigi State Star lengsilag tuna dumnaba ikay naba.
Next, I request Srimati Nungsidombia Thokbam, Secretary Law Manipur, and the guest
First runner-up in 2018. She has also bagged the title of Sunsilk Mega Miss Northeast in 2019. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Lakpam Melody Devi.
Last but not the least, Sri Prasant Kumar Singh, IAS Chief Electoral Officer, Manipur, and the president of today's program, to felicitate our state icon, Mrs. M. Daina Devi.
Lengsilaksi, Mrs.
Next up, we have an incredible personality
President,
who has
Sri Prasanth Kumar Singh,
Manipure's pride
Electoral
on several occasions. She has been Mrs. IAWA India 2018, Miss Gorgeous 2018, Mrs. India Legacy Most Talented 2018, Empress University Winner 2018, and she has also won the Peace Ambassador Award 2019 and the United Nations Nari Shakti Samman 2019. And Toybi Morantham, a big warm welcome.
Systematic voter education and electoral participation SIP icons are selected from antecedents. Thank you, everyone.
Sathajarappa oina mathang asili award yentokpagi thoram adu amuk thamjari khoyam mayam puna sarugyaminasi hariba thoram sida.
It's time for the distribution of Certificate of Appreciation to District Election Officer for exemplary performance in the special summary revision of Photo Electoral Rule 2021.
Thagat pa phungdoloduna ahanbada Certificate of Appreciation si Srimati Nita Arambam IAS ta kusindagani.
The award will be presented by our chief guest of today's program, Sri L.M. Kaute, IPS Director General of Police.
L.M. Kaute na Srimati Nita Arambam IAS ta award asi kusinari.
Thank you, sir. Followed by the Certificate of Appreciation to Electoral Rule 2021.
Special Summary Revision Photo Electoral Roll English Singani Kungamathoida Todok Hindopa Thodang Kayada Dugumlaba Sakanglaba Mioi Singatu Mathang Manau Naina Utang Kausanjugi Hariba award asi ngasiki cast of honor na kusinabigani ahanbada kusinjari Muhammad Sulaiman Daulat Khan MCS Electoral Registry 30 Assembly Constituency.
Next, we have Sri Dunmin Thang Haukip MCS Electoral 29 Kumbi Assembly Constituencies.
Madhavda is Electoral Registration Officer 7 Andro Assembly Constituency.
Sizalembi Chanu, MCS Electoral Registration Officer of 7 Andro Assembly Constituency.
Angom Sizalembi Mathamda, Registration Officer of 21 Noria Pakanglapa Assembly Constituency.
Next, we have Srimati Oinam Indira Chanu of 21 Nauria Pakanglapa Assembly Constituency. And next, we have Sri Bungba Maibung Kuman, MCS Electoral Registration Officer of 22 Wango Assembly Constituency.
Bungbagi Mathamda, 58 Tutanpur Assembly Constituency. Electoral Registration Officer Sri S. Ginmuan.
Next, we have Sri S. Ginmuan Maite, MCS Electoral Registration Officer of 58 Churachandpur ST Assembly Constituency.
Lengsin Biroksi, 50 Kankopi Assembly Constituency Electoral Registration Officer Sri Laram Sang Infimate MCS.
Electoral Registration Officer of 50 Gangpokpi Assembly Constituency. The certificate of appreciation to Christian Private Limited, New Delhi, for their commendable service and support in carrying out SIP program. The award will be presented by our chief guest, Sri L.M. Kaute, IPS Director General of Police, Manipur.
Creative Communication Partner of SIF Electoral Officer, Manipur Fluorescent Communication Private Limited, New Delhi. Hairiba Dugnapa Certificate of Appreciation asi Nasigi Chukes na Kusinari Tagachari.
And lastly, the certificate of appreciation to the booth level officer will also be distributed. The booth level officer and Sanjit Singh to please come up on the stage.
Matagi Thoram Moina, booth level officer Singda, Certificate of Appreciation Yantopogi Thoramaduni. Hairiba booth level officer Sing, Ekwe Matamanam Naina Kausinjarake. Ahanbada Kundrakpam Assembly Constituency, BLO and Sanjit Singh, Langsin Biraksi. Anishubada Hangang Assembly Constituency. Sanatumbagi Matanda Kamabam Jotilal Singh Kairawa Assembly Constituency Jotilal Gi Matanda H. Hemchandra Matanda SH Dhananjoy Singh Lamlai Assembly Constituency Suniti Devi Tangwayban Assembly Constituency Luingana L. Mohan Singh Uripok Assembly Constituency Matang Sikna Miwaitara Singh Ekwe Kangachari Matang Manaman Ningsin Biraksi Hausit Kausinjari Kumukcham Mila Devi S.I.N.S.
Next, we have R.K. Snatomba Singh of Thongju Assembly Constituency. For Kairawa Assembly Constituency, Kangabam Jyotilal Singh. I request one and all to please give a big round of applause. For Kairawa Assembly Constituency, Kangabam Jyotilal Singh. And next we have for Andhra Assembly Constituency, H. Hemchandra. For Thangwayban Assembly Constituency, L. Suniti Devi. For Thangwayban Assembly Constituency, L. Suniti Devi. For Uripok Assembly Constituency, L. Mohan Singh. And next, for Sagolban Assembly Constituency, Mazagui Lu Maringmay. For Sagolban Assembly Constituency, Mazagui Lu Maringmay. For Singjamay Assembly Constituency, K. Gunachandra Sharma. Next, I request our guest of honors of today's program to kindly present the certificate to the booth level officer. Assembly Constituency, Khuraijam Biswajit Singh. For Yai School Assembly Constituency, I request Khuraijam Biswajit Singh to please come up on the stage. For Wangkai Assembly Constituency, Maibam Romita Devi. For Wangkai Assembly Constituency, Chief Kuti. For Stegmai Assembly Constituency, Kharga Prasad Chief Kuti. For Lamsang Assembly Constituency, Y. Kunjo Singh. For Lamsang Assembly Constituency, Y. Kunjo Singh. Next we have Kontaujam. For Kontaujam Assembly Constituency, we have Y. Komba Singh. For Lamsang Assembly Constituency, Y. Kunjo Singh. For Kontaujam Assembly Constituency, we have Y. Komba Singh. For For Langkabal Assembly Constituency, we have W. Babichan Devi. For Langkabal Assembly Constituency, we have W. Babichan Devi. Assembly Constituency, I request L. Bormani Devi to please come up on the stage. For Wangoi Assembly Constituency, Sarumbam Tabaton Devi. For Wangoi Assembly Constituency, Sarumbam Tabaton Devi. For Mayang Imphal Assembly Constituency, Saikong Shama Devi. For Mayang Imphal Assembly Constituency, Saikong Shama Devi. And for Bishnupur Assembly Constituency, Salam Manitombi Devi. Next, the certificate of appreciation will be presented by our joint Chief Electoral Officer, who is the president of today's function, Sir P.K. Singh.
Mathanda Kausinjari Dongram Vidyarani Devi Thaga Assembly Constituency. Thongaujam Sophia Devi, Kumbi Assembly Constituency. Mathanda Muhammad Samsul Islam, Lilong Assembly Constituency. Lilong Assembly Constituency gi Booth Level Officer Muhammad Samsul Islam gi Mathanda Thongam Ranjit Singh, Thawal Assembly Constituency. Ningsin Biraksi Muhammad Samsul Islam, Lilong Assembly Constituency. Thawal Assembly Constituency gi Thongam Ranjit Singh, Ningsin Biraksi stage down. Ranjit ki Mathanda R.K. Adita Rani, Wangkai Assembly Constituency. R.K. Anita Rani ki Mathanda Anita Rani gi mathangda Maibam Somen Singh Hairok Assembly Constituency Maibam Somen Somen gi mathangda Radhapati Devi Wangjing Tentha Assembly Constituency Radhapati Devi Wangjing Tentha Assembly Constituency Ngasigi Thorum Sigi President Certificate of Appreciation Si Booth Level Officer Singda Kusinabiri Mathangda Ketrimayum Ranjana Devi Wabagai Assembly Constituency Ketrimayum Ranjana Devi Wabagai Assembly Constituency Lengsin Biraksi Ranjana gi mathangda Mayang Lambam Robin Singh Kakchin Assembly Constituency Kakchin Assembly Constituency gi Mayang Lambam Robin Singh Robin gi mathangda Chanda Manishwar Singh Yanglam Assembly Constituency Chanda Manishwar Yanglam Assembly Constituency ki Booth Level Officer Stesta Nixon Biraksi Chanda Manishwar Yanglam Assembly Constituency ki mathangda Kumantem Radhamani Devi Sugunu Assembly Constituency Sugunu Assembly Constituency ki Kumantem Radhamani Devi Radhamani gi mathangda Jiribam Assembly Constituency ki Elambam Kumar Singh Lengsin Biraksi
and the certificate of appreciation for Chandal Assembly Constituency NG Famsir Monsang. For Chandal Assembly Constituency NG Famsir Monsang to please come up on the stage. Next, for Technopole Assembly Constituency, we have MD Tariq. For Chandal Assembly Constituency, NG Famsir Monsang. For Technopole Assembly Constituency, we have MD Tariq. For Pungyar Assembly Constituency, we have RK Leishisan. For Technopole Assembly Constituency, we have MD Tariq. For Pungyar Assembly Constituency, we have RK Leishisan. For Ukhrul Assembly Constituency, we have Srimati Tui Yamla Singh Naisui. For Ukhrul Assembly Constituency, we have Srimati Tui Yamla Singh Naisui. For Chingyai Assembly Constituency, we have H. Yarnot. For Ukhrul Assembly Constituency, we have Srimati Triyamla Singh Naisui. For Saikul Assembly Constituency, we have Lal Jakub Baifai. For Ukhrul Assembly Constituency, Srimati Triyamla Singh Naisui. Appreciation are presented to the booth level officer. For Cycle Assembly Constituency, Lal Jacob by Faith. For Mao Assembly Constituency, we have Mr. K. Hani Krichena. For Mao Assembly Constituency, we have Mr. K. Hani Krichena. For Cycle Assembly Constituency, for Mao Assembly Constituency, we have Mr. K. Hani Krichena. For Mao Assembly Constituency, we have Mr. K. Hani Krichena. For Tadubi Assembly Constituency, we have Mr. O. Adani. For Tadubi Assembly Constituency, we have Mr. O. Adani. For Tadubi Assembly Constituency, we have Mr. O. Adani. For Kangpopi Assembly Constituency, we have Seisei Duboy. For Kangpopi Assembly Constituency, we have Seisei Duboy. I request Seisei Duboy to please come forward on the stage. For Saitu Assembly Constituency, we have Boise Chongloi. For Saitu Assembly Constituency, we have Boise Chongloi. Boise Chongloi for Saitu Assembly Constituency. For Tamai Assembly Constituency, we have Sri Azupao Pamay. For Tamai Assembly Constituency, we have Sri Level Officer will be presented by our chief guest of today's function, DGP LM Kauti. For Nungba Assembly Constituency, Injan Sinyang Pamay. For Nungba Assembly Constituency, Injang Sinang Pamay. I request Injang Sinang Pamay to please come forward on the stage. For Tipaimu Assembly Constituency, Malacan Intawet. For Tipaimu Assembly Constituency, Malacan Intawet. Next, for Hangleb Assembly Constituency, as Akub Aimo. For Tipaimu Assembly Constituency, Malacan Intawet. For Hangleb Assembly Constituency, as Akub Aimo. As Akub Aimo for Hangleb Assembly Constituency. For Churachandpur Assembly Constituency, we have Srimati Lalnung Thari. Srimati Lalnung Thari for Churachandpur Assembly Constituency. For Churachandpur Assembly Constituency, Srimati Lalnung Thari. For Saikot Assembly Constituency, D. Onkomang Hauki. For Saikot Assembly Constituency, D. Onkomang Haukip. And lastly, the certificate of appreciation to the booth level officer will be presented by Shri K. Bono Singh, Joint Secretary Election. Brajnesh Singh, 19, for Patsu Assembly Constituency. Next, we have Ms. Ningombam Hemawati Devi, 27 Moirang Assembly Constituency. Ms. Ningombam Hemawati Devi, 27 Moirang Assembly Constituency. And next, we have Ms. R.K. Anita Rani for 32 Wangkhem Assembly Constituency. Ms. Ningombam Hemawati Devi, 27, for Moirang Assembly Constituency. Next, we have Ms. R.K. Anita Rani for 32 Wangkhem Assembly Constituency. Next, we have Ms. Thokchong Prabha Devi of Kangabok Assembly Constituency. Ms. Thokchong Prabha Devi of Kangabok Assembly Constituency. And lastly, the certificate of appreciation to the booth level officer will be given to late Mr. Singham LM, 8x40 Terakong of 8 Lamlai Assembly Constituency. I request dear family members to please come forward on the stage. Bono Singh, MCS Joint Secretary, Election, Government of Manipur, for the vote of thanks.
Respected Director General of Police Manipur, Sri L.M. Kopti IPS, respected State Election Commissioner Manipur, Srimati Sitombi Atokon, respected Chief Electoral Officer Manipur, Sri Prasant Kumar Singh IAS, our valued invitees, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor and privilege for me to propose a vote of thanks on this solemn occasion of 11 National Voters Day 2021, which is being celebrated today with the theme Making Our Voters Empowered, Vigilant, Safe and Informed. I, on behalf of Election Department Manipur, and on my own behalf, extend a very hearty National Voters Day pledge. It is the testimony of your respect for democracy and Election Commission of India. Your gracious presence here is a great encouragement for Election Department and inspiration to all voters. I thank Srimati Nusitombi Atokun, State Election Commissioner Manipur, for your valued participation in today's function. Ma'am, your presence today is really inspiring to the youth. Next, I personally thank P.K. Singh, Chief Electoral Officer Manipur, for giving me the privilege of sitting, giving me to sit on the dais today. I thank all distinguished invitees and guests, particularly Sir Joy, Commissioner Government of Manipur, for sparing your valuable time to grace this celebration of National Voters Day 2021. I congratulate Srimati Nita Arambam, District Election Officer Vishnupur, on her winning the State Award for Best All-Round Performer, and other 7 electoral registration officers on their winning the State Awards. These awards are conferred to them in recognition of their exemplary contribution during the just concluded Special Summary Revision 2021. I thank all state icons, namely Sri Ajay Setri, Best Player of the Season 2017 Under 18 I-League. Of course, he is represented today by his own father. Miss L. Melody Devi, Miss Pineapple Queen 2018, Mrs. Hendoibi M, Mrs. Aiwa India 2018. You are an inspiration to the masses to come out for enrollment in electoral rolls and cast votes in elections. I am very grateful to you all for attending this function and accepting the felicitations. Next, I thank all prize-winning good level officers, the new electors, their guardians for participation in this function. Last but not the least, let me express our gratitude to the friends from the print and electronic media for covering this function, and it is indeed you who will be sending out the message of this celebration far and wide. I also extend our thanks to the director, Jawaharlal Nehru Manipur Dance Academy Imphal, for extending support to election department by allowing to use this beautiful auditorium today for this function. Lastly, I also wish to express our gratitude to all those audience who I missed to mention by names for being present here today and for making this function a grand success. Reaffirming our faith and commitment in democracy, free and fair elections, I thank one and all for your participation in this celebration of National Voters Day 2021. Once again, I thank you all.
On the 11th National Voters Day 2021, I thank the dignitaries and all present here for making the function a grand success. Thank you all. And our organizing team has arranged a light refreshment outside the hall, so I request one and all to please have the light refreshment.